Hey guys, welcome to another video from Lovelawns. I'm Kai, and today we're going to be giving the Honda HRU 216 a bit of a light service. So changing the oil, changing the blades, cleaning the air filter, running it and getting it all sweet for next week's craziness. So yeah, let's take it round, change the oil, and we'll start with that bit first. So the first thing you want to do is take your mower to a place in the garden where you're not going to mind spilling a little bit of oil, because sometimes you spill a bit, and then I'll show you how we do that. All right, so we've come to this sort of neglected part of my garden to tip the mower over and get the oil out. You can use like a suction pump thing, which is easier to be honest, but I haven't got one of them. So I normally just get a carton, like this old orange juice carton, and tip the mower out and just pour it in here, tip the mower over and pour the oil out. So it's about 600 mils of oil that you want to stick in here, and let's empty the old stuff first. Okay, so get yourself a bit of tissue, one bottle, take the cap off, and then start by lifting her over. And the oil will pour out of there, easy peasy. Now you'll see I've put the mower on a bit of a bank here, so it's easier to tilt it over. If you're on flat ground, you'll struggle to get the bottle underneath, and you won't get the mower far enough over to get all the oil out. Definitely easier to get one of those pumps. I've got most of it out. All right, so I've moved the mower onto flat level ground now to put the new oil in, and you don't want it on a slope when you're putting that in. So just pop that up there. So this is the oil I generally use. This is the genuine Honda one. This is a 10W-30. So that's you can get non-Honda ones, but just get the 10W30. That's what these mowers require. Now it's 600 mil-ish that you want to put in. So the side of this tub here has got it goes up in half, like a litre at a time, and half a litre, so 500 mil. So I'm going to put it from here down to about there, and I'm going to check it with the dipstick. So simply just pour that in. And do less, obviously, first, because you can always put more in. It's a bit annoying to take it out. Probably about there. Yeah, we'll just let that settle for a second, and then we'll pop this in. Now you don't screw this up on the Hondas, you just put it in, sit it on the top, and have a look at it. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see in here, but it's sitting just at the top of those dots there, those squiggly lines. So that is perfect. All right, so that's step one done of this little mini service, changing the oil. Now we're going to do the blades. Actually, I might do the air filter first and then do the blades. Let's do that. Okay, so changing the air filter in these, or giving it a clean, it's very simple. You just undo these two wing nuts on here. Like so. Place them in a safe place. And that whole plastic casing just lifts off, and then this is your air filter. So you want to take that up, and it kind of lifts off here. If it's not too bad, just give it a blow. If it needs more, you can give it like a compressed air blow. So this little bit here, this little just like a foam cover, I guess, will come off like that, and then this is your actual air filter here. So I normally just give it a tap on the on something hard. It's actually pretty good. I do this quite regularly, so there's not much on there, to be honest. That's pretty good. And then this bit here, I'm going to just give that a bit of a brush off, and give it a blow with an air compressor if you've got one to hand. As I said, I do this quite regularly, so it's not too bad. that'll do for today. Just giving it a blow off, like a bit of a shake off and a clean. You can spray it with a bit of WD-40 as well if you feel inclined, if you're in a very dusty situation, but we are definitely not in a dusty situation here on the Gold Coast at the moment. And then just want to make sure that that kind of goes back into place as best you can. It stretches a little bit when you take it off, but that's how you want it. Like that. Doesn't have to be spotless, but just relatively clean. Got the bulk of it off, and then that just slides back on there. So obviously when you get a new one of these, you get that whole unit there, and you just take that off, chuck it out and put the freshie on. Goes back on there. Those do up, and that's it. Air filter's clean for another week, and you are obviously, you've got to get these lined up. The old OCD kicking in there. But yeah, that's how you change or clean the air filter out. Same deal if you need to change it, you just obviously put a new one in rather than put the old one back in. So let's do the blades next. So the tools that I use to change the blades is a socket set, need a rattle gun, and something to lean the mower on when you tip it over, which is in this case my toolbox, but you can use a jerry can or a bit of wood or anything like that. We also need a new set of bolts and nuts and washers and things like that. Never reuse the old ones, that's just asking for trouble. And you obviously need your blades. So if there was a bit of a jump there in the video, that's because the card filled up before I knew it. So I got about 15 minutes down the road before I realised, which is always fun. But yeah, so I use the genuine Honda high lift blades, and these work a treat. I generally don't sharpen these blades, I just change them when they need changing, because they're quite thin. You don't really get that much extra use out of it when you sharpen them, so normally I just change them over. Alright, so let's flip her over, and the toolbox is here. I'll rest it about there on the mower. So I'm not sure if you can see that in the video, but she normally sits pretty good there. You don't want her falling down on you, so make sure she's pretty sturdy. So size-wise, you need 15 mil for these two here to get the plate off, and you need 17 mil for the ones inside. So let's take these off. Put them somewhere safe. And then your whole plate comes off. I always take this opportunity to give this a really good clean, and give all this a good clean inside here as well, while you can get to it nice and easily, because there's a heck of a lot of grass that builds up in there that even if you blow it and wash your mower regularly, you don't really get underneath it like that. So I'll do that now. I'll give it a clean, and then we'll change these blades over. Yeah, not looking too bad actually. In fact, yeah, not looking too bad at all. It's always nice to stick some fresh ones on there, to be honest. So, alrighty, let's get on to cleaning this, and then I'll come back. We'll do the rest. Just using a wooden garden stake here just to get the worst of it off, because you don't risk scratching all the underneath your mower. Little wire brush then, just to get the rest of it off, just the remaining bits. Don't have to go crazy, just get the bulk of it off really, whilst you've got the opportunity. Okay, that's all that out of there, pretty much. Now we're going to change these over. So, with these blades, you want to get your 17 mil one, and just tuck it in there. One, two, 3. And 4. Now, before you go ahead and take everything off, like, you can get rid of, these are the old bolts and nuts, you can get rid of all but one, I would recommend, just for this moment. So take everything off, all the old stuff, which you're not going to reuse, but leave one on. And the reason you want to leave one on is so you can just check it. If this is the first time you've ever done it, just check the order of how things are. And what I mean by that is there's a nut, there's this sort of half moon shaped washer which sits in there like that. That's on this side. Then underneath you've got this little washer thing here, then the blade, then the bolt. So, and you want to put them back on obviously the same way. So keep that in mind so you don't forget it, because I quite often forget it, so I just normally pop it on there just to remind me. So then we can give this a quick clean. Get all that rubbish off there. That's it. So you want it looking a bit like that. Then you want to get your new blades and put them on the same way that these ones came off. So these are high lift blades, so when they're on the mower like that, they want the lift facing up, if that makes sense. So it sucks the grass up into the mower. If you have them down that way, it's going to push all the grass down and you're not going to be mowing much. So we'll get our new set of everything. And remember, we had this thing on there and we had the bolt coming through. So we'll put the bolt in the blade and you'll see there's a little, it kind of sits into there. It's like a little lip that it goes in, slots in there. Then there was one of these little washers. Hey, these are curved washers. I'll show you in a sec when I pick up everything I've just chucked everywhere. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but they've got like a little curve in them, and you want to sit them up like that. So you put that then, so the bolt goes through, that goes on like that. That goes through there, and you'll notice with these bolts there's only one way it can slide in, because it's kind of cut half moon shaped. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the camera. So that'll only go in one way, stop it from turning, and that's it. Then you put a fresh nut on there. And just loosely do it up for now. Make sure you've got it all sitting nice and flush. So you want it to be relatively loose. I'll tighten that in a minute, but that's how you want it sitting. So bolt, blade, washer, half moon thing and nut. So we're going to do the same on these other ones as well. So we want the bolt and the blade, one of these washers, that's going to go in there like so, half moon shaped thing, and the bolt. Might as well just do the other ones as well. Yeah, as I was saying before, when I was talking about the blades, don't reuse the nuts and bolts, guys. Just put fresh ones on, because you're just asking for trouble if you do that. If one of them breaks and the blade comes flying off, God knows what sort of damage it could cause. So just yeah, don't put yourself in that situation basically, and just get new ones on there. There we go. So just put it on the floor then, and that's good. Now what I like to do is just get that, stick it on the actual socket and just make sure they are tight, just because, well, you just don't want them coming off here. So that's good. Good. That's good. That's good. So that actually seems really loose. Okay, so they felt too loose when I did it then. Look, they're just flopping around. That's not right. You don't want them flopping around that much. You want them stiff, but still movable like this. So I think I put this washer on the wrong way around. So flip that over so it's facing kind of like an N shape on top of the blade. Stick the bolt in, and we'll try that again, because that was just too loose. It didn't feel right. Yeah, that's better. So you see how they're pretty stiff? You don't want it doing this. They need to be stiffer than that. So if you put them on and they don't feel stiff like that, then I think, like I did, just change the washer over. Obviously put that on the wrong way. There we go, that's better. They're nice and stiff now, not flopping around. So once you've got them in place, as I said, just like to go around and give it one last tighten. Just to make sure. And then we will line these holes back up, like so. These ones are okay to reuse, because they're a bit different, but don't reuse those other ones. I mean, if you absolutely have to, it's alright, but generally do freshies. And I normally just do that up loose and then give it a bit of what for, and that's it. That's how you change the blades on your mower. So I will put that down now, give the oil a minute to settle, and then test it all out. Make sure she's good. Okay guys, so that's how you do a mini service on your Honda mower. Most of them are pretty much the same, to be honest. They might have slightly different blades and stuff, take different amounts of oil, but pretty similar Honda mowers. So yeah, that's how you change the blades, clean out the air filter, and do some fresh oil. Now we'll get it going, we'll mow the lawn, and it's all ready for next week's service. Hope that was useful. Thanks very much for watching, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and liking and all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.